for calling 211 New Hampshire, a program of Granite United Way in partnership with Eversource. In partnership with Eversource. In partnership with Eversource. In partnership with Eversource. Thank you for calling 211 New Hampshire, a program of Granite United Way in partnership with Eversource. In partnership with Eversource. In partnership with Eversource. In partnership with Eversource. Please listen carefully to the following options. Selecting an incorrect option may result in your call being misdirected to a specialist that will not be able to assist you. If you are calling to schedule an appointment for free tax preparation, please visit the website www.nhtaxhelp.org to view available times and locations and to schedule your own appointment, or press 6 to be connected to a specialist that can assist you by phone. If you are calling for any other type of assistance, including homeless services, help for homeowners facing foreclosure, or general information and referral, press 8 and please have a pen and paper ready. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. This call may be recorded for quality assurance purposes.
So I just have a couple of quick questions about the shelter there in Cheshire County. Okay. First, may I have the two addresses for those shelters, please?
Oh, let me see here. So you're in Keene?
I'm outside of Keene and Marlboro. 03455 is the zip.
Okay. So as far as, usually what we do is we take the information and get it out to an outreach worker.
Okay, so the addresses for the shelters are not published then.
No, they're published. Let me see here. I'm thinking there's only one shelter over there now, though.
Yeah, because I was on the Southwestern Community Services website.
Yeah.
And it said that they have 4 shelters, 2 in Cheshire County and 2 in Sullivan County.
Okay. Let me see here.
Great.
Because I'm thinking that there's 2 during the winter, but I think at the end of March it changes.
Right.
Let's see here.
Then it's Tent City, right?
Yeah, a lot of times. Let's see here. Just want to make sure I'm going to get you the right information here.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the addresses. I'd like to go by and take a look.
I'm addresses in here, but maybe we don't where that is.
So the homeless people do not go show up in person and line up outside one of these shelters over here, huh?
No, usually what they do, where there's an outreach worker, is the outreach worker will do the legwork to see if there's an opening.
And how would they get in touch with a homeless person if the homeless person doesn't have a mailing address or a cell phone number?
Yeah, most of the time, believe it or not, there's a cell phone.
They get an Obama phone, huh?
That's right. Yeah, let me see here. Because I do have a number to Southwest Community Services.
Yeah, that's who I called initially, and I can't get through to anyone.
All right, let me give you a number to I have a daytime shelter info number.
Okay.
And that number's 209-0251.
All right, 209-0251.
Yeah, and that'll give you the information on the shelters.
Okay, daytime shelter number.
Yeah.
And is that kind of like a guy like you I'll speak to, or is that an actual shelter location?
That is actually probably somebody that's dealing with the shelters. I don't know if it's an actual shelter location.
Okay, well, you've been very helpful. Thank you very much.
All right, good luck.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Press 2 to erase and re-record message review.
How you doing, Tyler? My name is John. I'm just trying to get some basic information about the shelters in Cheshire County. On the SCS website here, they say there are 4 facilities in Cheshire and Sullivan County. So please call the Cheshire County Shelter, and they have your number. And I give you a call, and you reference a few different numbers here. I call them, and I can't get through to anyone. Then I call the emergency housing number 211, and they don't have any addresses or know where the shelters are in Cheshire County, and then they give me your number. So just curious about why there isn't some basic information about where the shelters are on the website. So my number is, just looking for the addresses for the shelters, sir. Thanks for your help.
If you are satisfied with your message, press 1 to send your message with normal delivery.
Hello?
Hi, this is Tyler McGrath. I'm with Southwestern Community Services, returning your call from earlier.
Great. How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Good. So what do you got for me?
Well, who are you with?
Who am I with?
Yeah.
I'm with myself.
What do you need the addresses for?
Are they unpublished numbers? You don't want to tell people where your shelters are located?
Yeah, it's kind of private information.
That's private information.
Yeah.
So if I have a few friends that are homeless, I cannot help them out by giving them that information because I'm sitting here with my computer and my phone, and I'm having a real difficult time finding the shelters. So it's going to be real difficult for a homeless person to find your location, sir.
I think what you do is call me, like what we're doing right now.
Okay, I called you on a few different numbers here.
Well, you're talking to me right now.
Are you to give me the names of the addresses, sir, or no?
No, those are unpublished for a reason.
So you think that you're being helpful right now?
Yeah, you think you're entitled to that information for no reason? How do I know?
You think I'm
How do I know there's not somebody that's homeless right now? You got an axe to grind with it. You want to come and beat the shit out of, and you're trying to find out the address. You can track them down and attack them. How do I know that's not your plan?
Excuse me?
How do I know that's not your plan? How do I know you don't want the address?
The first thing on your head, the first thing in your mind is I want the address to the homeless shelter for what, sir? Repeat that?
You can track someone down and beat their ass because you got some axe to grind with them.
Okay, there's something called the white pages, and there's a whole list of numbers in the white pages. All bunch of people list their numbers and their addresses in the white pages, and they do it without fear of being tracked down by a homicidal maniac that wants to kill them. So you have a homeless shelter that I would think, excuse me, sir, I want to finish.
Hey, have a good day.
Are you all right? Thank you for calling Everyday Energy and its family of brands. For Value Power and Gas, press 1. For Everyday Energy, press 2. For Energy Rewards, press 3. For Consolidated Communications Energy Rewards, press 4. Hello, thank you for calling Consolidated Communications Energy Rewards. This call will be recorded for quality purposes. What state or province are you calling for today?
New Hampshire.
Please hold while I transfer your call to the next available representative.
Thank you for calling customer care. This is Alex on a recorded line. How can I assist you today?
Yes, I used to be a customer of Fairpoint. What happened to Fairpoint?
Fairpoint changed its name to Energy Rewards, actually.
They're called Energy Rewards now?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, what about the internet though?
We don't serve internet here in this line. You would need to call a different number for that.
Okay, so I
electric, actually.
you handle electric, right?
Correct.
So Fairpoint used to handle electric and also the internet, correct?
I think so, yes. I'm not sure as I don't work on that part.
Okay, so this is a letter I got from Fairpoint Energy, and it said that my provider is somebody other than Fairpoint, but Fairpoint could help manage the bill.
Let me verify. Do you have an account number so I can check that for you?
I think it would be an Eversource account number, I think.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I think it is 56024.
Okay. May I have your first and last name, please, and also your service address?
Marlboro, New Hampshire 03455.
I see. By any chance, is she there with you?
No, she's not here. She's in California right now.
I understand. Yes, the problem is I cannot provide any information without that person in the line.
Yeah, I just have some generic questions about your company, though. I don't need to go into specifics.
Okay. Yes, let me know what your question is.
Okay, so I got a letter here that says Fairpoint Energy, and it says that like New Hampshire Incorporated is your energy provider, but Fairpoint Energy is something else that
Supplier.
is your supplier. Okay, right. So what does that mean?
Yeah, we provide the rate. What we do is provide the rate for the energy.
Okay, so what does that mean, sir, that you provide the rates? That's what I'm kind of unclear about.
So we provide the price of the energy. The utility is the one that sends the energy through their poles and wires. But yes, we are the ones who provide the energy.
Okay, but what does that mean when you said that you provide the rates? What does that mean, sir?
The price of the energy.
The price.
That's the rate.
The price of the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you're stating that we should send all the money toward you, to you, and you do what with the money though, sir? Do you send it to the provider, the energy provider? What's your position?
The payment is sent to the utility company, and the utility company pay us. So that's how it works.
So are you just a professional call center?
Correct.
You're not an investment bank?
No, not at all.
You don't take the rates and invest it?
Not that I know of. I don't have that information.
So Fairpoint Energy is just a call center, is what you're telling me?
No, we are an energy supplier.
Okay, so we're talking in circles. Are you aware that we're talking in circles, sir?
I'm just providing the information I know.
Okay, so I think that you are taking the money and you're investing it somehow, and you're claiming to have lower rates. So are you basically buying accounts from people? Are you buying energy companies' accounts and offering them lower rates for the time being? Is that what you're doing?
What we do is offering a lower rate. Yes, if that is convenient with you,
take a plan with us. That's how it works, yes.
Okay, so what did Fairpoint Energy, why did they go out of business then? If they're a call center, why did they go out of business?
The name changed to a different thing. Now it's called Energy Rewards.
Do you have any idea why they changed the name? Like I've had a business for a few years. I don't want to change the name. That's kind of bad for business. Do you know why you would change your name?
No, I'm not sure about that part. I don't have information about that.
Okay. And the last question is, are you a division of Consolidated Communications now?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so Consolidated Communications is now your parent company, correct?
Yes, that is correct, yes.
And so they call themselves Consolidated Energy, or what is the new name that they call themselves?
Let me verify that information for you.
Thank you.
It's Consolidated Communications, that's the name.
I'm sorry, sir, what was that?
Consolidated Communications.
It's just called Consolidated Communications. I thought you referenced a different name a second ago that will help lower your rates. Didn't you call yourself an Energy Solutions or something?
Energy Rewards, yes.
Energy
That
Reward.
depends from state to state, but yes, in your case it would be Consolidated Communications.
Okay, and Consolidated Communications, do they own Eversource?
No, that's a utility.
Okay, does Eversource own Consolidated?
No, it's different. It's a different business.
It's a different business. So you don't work with Eversource at all?
Yes, as I was explaining to you, they're the utility. The energy goes through them, but we provide the rate.
But you provide the rates.
That is correct.
And so by providing the rates, you guys are just act as a call center. There's nothing more than providing the rates is acting as a call center?
Correct, we just provide the rate.
So does Eversource tell you what they want the rates to be, or do you guys determine that?
No, we offer different rates from them.
Okay, you offer different rates than Eversource. So it's kind of like you want to get a bunch of customers together, and then that you could lower the rates a little bit.
Yes, that depends. We would need to check that information with the account holder.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for answering those questions. I appreciate it. Goodbye.
I think so, yes. I'm not sure as I don't work on that part.
I wanted to say one more thing. I'm really sorry about Bob.
It's nothing serious.
No, it is. That critical moment we both knew would come someday.
What we do is offering a lower rate. Yes, if that is convenient with you, you take a plan with us. That's how it works, yes.
They will all get sick and die. 1, paralysis of the limbs. 2, refusal of food to the point of starvation. 3, bleeding from the eyes. 4, death. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry, you won't get sick. You just gotta stay calm, that's all.
I understand. Yes, the problem is I cannot provide any information without that person in the line.
The payment is sent to the utility company, and the utility company pay us. So that's how it works.
You remember what stage 3 is? Is bleeding from the eyes. That's stage 3. Once the bleeding happens, it's only a matter of hours before they die.
Let me verify. Do you have an account number so I can check that for you? The name changed to a different thing. Now it's called Energy Rewards.
Okay, there. I have nothing more to say unless you've any questions.
Yes, let me know what your question is.
Okay, so I just called 1-800-352-3793.
That's correct.
And you said you're the government, you said?
This is the State of New Hampshire Department of Energy Commissioner's Office.
Okay.
How may I help you?
So I got a letter in the mail here that says, if you have questions or need further explanation, please call Fairpoint Energy or the New Hampshire Public Utilities Commission. So I just called Fairpoint Energy, and they have been bought out by Everyday Energy.
Would you like their phone number?
Everyday Energy and Family of Friends. So I decided to call this number here, and you say that you're no longer, are you there?
This is the State of New Hampshire Department of Energy Commissioner's Office.
They teach me, and I think, they're not always patient, and so that can suck at times, but the main thing is for me that I have to try.
This is the State of New Hampshire Department of Energy Commissioner's Office. How may I help you?
Wrapping my brain around the gender pronouns, because to me the they is plural.
This is the State of New Hampshire Department of Energy Commissioner's Office. How may I help you?
When my son came out in the 7th grade, I just thought he was the bravest thing ever.
Would you like their phone number?
I always like to think I know things, but they know more. So my job a lot right now is to listen.
How may I help you?
and Eversource calling for John again. If you could give me a call back on my cell. I probably got hold of the Marlboro Town Inspector as far as the service, and I just needed to verify one thing with you. 533. It is Tuesday around 11 o'clock. Thank you.
So I called him back, and we had this conversation. This is John.
Hey, John. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I got hold of the Marlboro inspector. He said that he had been out and inspected it. However, I guess there's a propane tank right near the meter.
Yeah.
The propane tank is not supposed to be within 10 feet of the meter socket. And evidently that's something that the person that had the original job for your upgrade has been dealing with the electrician on, I imagine. I'm not sure.
You said the original electrician that put in the meter has been dealing with who, sir?
The Chuck Munson was the person from Eversource that was originally doing the original upgrade order that we had from Scott Stone for your location.
Yeah, I remember the name, Munson.
Yeah. So, is the propane tank still right by the meter?
No, sir, I had that removed.
Oh, you did? Okay, good. So, it's inspected. All I've got to do is go out and take some notes so I know what to write up on it, and we'll get it in the schedule, and by the next week we should have it done.
Thank you, sir.
Not a problem. Like I say, I just needed to verify. There wasn't much sense in my going out if the propane tank was, but if you've had it removed, that's fine. So we'll get it taken care of.
All right, I understand. That sounds good. So are you still going to arrive here today sometime?
Yeah, some point today I'll be out there. I just don't have a clue when.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. So I stayed here all day, and then he showed up in what looked like a little white pickup truck. He didn't knock on the door. He didn't identify himself, and he took off before I had a chance to get out there. So he avoided me meeting with him and asking him any questions. So I called him up on the phone.
Ron Taylor.
Hey, Ron Taylor, how you doing?
Good.
This is John.
What?
This is John. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I seen a guy in a pickup truck in the driveway about a half hour, but he didn't stick around to talk to me. That wouldn't have been you, would it?
Yeah, that was me. Everything looks good. I'll put it in schedule. We should have it done by the middle of next week at the latest.
Everything looks good with that?
Yep, everything looks good. You got a real bad echo. I'm having trouble hearing you. Are you on speaker or something?
No, sir. I gotta get a new phone. This phone isn't that good.
Yeah, the echo's real bad. But yeah, everything looks okay for us to change it over. When they come out, you'll be without power for probably 15, 20 minutes.
So what are those metal pieces that are inside the meter there?
They're like a jumper, basically. He goes in to jump the meter socket out. A lot of the electricians do that.
And so they just leave it like that for 6-7 months then?
No, he didn't know the service was ready. Had he known the service was ready, we'd have changed it over. The guy that was doing the job, Chuck, retired. So it kind of evidently got left up in the air.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to get it into the schedule and we'll get it taken care of.
All right, that was Chuck Munson?
Yep. Yeah, he retired.
He retired, okay.
Yeah.
And so that's not, according to Eversource, that's not dangerous to leave it like that?
Usually that's a temporary setup when they do it like that. Get the evidently there was an Hello?
Yes, sir. You were breaking up there. You said that usually it's a temporary.
Yeah, usually it's a very temporary thing. Well, once we get the inspection, we schedule it off and it's done. Like I say, evidently there was an issue with a propane tank, and that's why it never got done.
Yeah, I called Chuck Munson, and he got back to me, and he said that my house wasn't set up for a 200 amp circuit. That was what he told me.
No, your house was, everything is set up fine for 200 amp.
All right, so it was just kind of hung up in the air there. Yeah, I don't know much about electrical work. That's why I hire electricians and everything, so.
Yep. Yep, so like I say, everything looks good. We'll get it in the schedule. We'll get it changed over.
All right, so they're going to call me back soon to set up an appointment?
No, they'll just, when they can fit it in the schedule, they go, they knock on the door when they're going to do it.
All right, so I have to go to work and everything. I kind of stayed here today because I thought you needed to see me, but obviously you don't. Am I going to need to be there on a certain date when they change it over to the 200 amp circuit?
No, you won't have to be there. Your clocks will be flashing when they change it out. Like I say, the power will be out for about 10 minutes, and then it'll be back on.
Great, and you will estimate maybe in a week that will happen, or a couple weeks, what?
By the end of next week at the latest, it'll be done.
All right, sir. Well, thank you so much for your help.
No problem. You have a good day.
You too.
Enjoy the warm weather.
Yes, you too.
All right. Bye now.
Knowing or being able to predict or thinking about the response that there would be.
Propane tank is not supposed to be within 10 feet of the meter socket.
Because it seems like you never were never overly concerned with the response that you were going to get. Of course, you like success. We all like that.
Chuck Munson was the person from Eversource that was originally doing the original upgrade order that we had from Scott Stone for your location.
But you did the work, and you did it as you wanted to do it, as you felt you had to do it, as you found your way to do it. So it's all of a piece.
So is the propane tank still right by the meter? Oh, you did? Okay, good. So it's inspected. All I have to do is go out and take some notes so I know what to write up on it. And
time in your life, very early age, and you never let it go. You held on with a fist of iron, as it were.
We'll get it in the schedule, and by the next week we should have it done. Yeah, at some point today I'll be out there. I just don't have a clue when.
And people say, "Oh no, it never changed anything."
It does, but
obviously it does.
I'll be sending out there to take a look and see what we need to do later today. But give me a call. Thank you.
That seemed unshakable. And, for instance, a lot of people would deny their sexuality or deny who they were in one way or another. You never seemed to do that. I think it was...
Hi, Bonjour from Eversource, calling for John again. If you could give me a call back on my cell.
Definitely come back and do it.
Well, it has to be done right away because I want it done while I'm here. And otherwise, I don't want anybody else in the house while I'm here. But that, to me, is ridiculous. You don't put a light switch in a wall that goes to nothing. You know that. And so the whole thing was just buried. So, that's plain wrong.
Do you remember the scenario, John, back with that wall with the light over the vanity and stuff? Was there
you remember the scenario
Yeah,
there?
you know what? If you got the paperwork, that'll be great because we just got kind of a generic invoice with no write-up about what the estimate was.
Yeah,
and
I
so
know,
we
I
talked
got-
a while ago.
I
and
got somewhere back with all that description of work
yeah,
and stuff.
I'm sure you still have my email. If you could just
Yeah,
shoot
no,
that
I'll
over
go
to
back
me.
into it. I saved
All right,
all that stuff.
I'll give you a text with my new email if that one's still not working. So, all
I
right.
was just saying that I'm very upset about it.
Yeah.
Right? And I paid extra $288 for you to rewire because that's how much it was going to cost because of the recess and everything.
Right.
That was in addition. So now I have a switch to nothing and it was buried and that whole extra amount was for nothing. So, you know, I'm what's wrong is wrong.
All right, so we covered that, and I'll give you a call later,
Well,
okay?
he's
All
gonna
right,
call
all right,
us.
Scott. All right, cool. All right, terrific.
So, just want to make sure that's
All right, yeah.
But anyways, we'll I'll be sorry. Give me a couple days. How long are you here for?
I'm going to be here to about the middle of the month.
Middle of the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the light.
For the height, yeah, I don't remember the exact from the ceiling to the top of the cabinet. There's 20 inches from the ceiling to the top of the cabinet. That means the top of the.
Yeah, we're just going to see. We need to see all the paperwork, Scott, because it was left in limbo. Everything was left in limbo. I need to have paperwork and stuff like that. So I'll be in touch with you, okay?
No,
Good
he's going to
seeing
be
you.
in touch with us.
Okay.